who owned the property when the zoning was changed.
Oh, and here's the point I wanted to make. Again, and I know there's some disagreement about the small area plan, but I encourage you to go to the small area plan. If you look at the small area plan, which I think was penned in 2002, Bill? 2000.
The Brooklyn Metro small area plan did not extend out this far.
No, but there's...
Now, the small area plan that might have something to do with this is the Rhode Island Avenue Great Streets plan, the world's largest small area plan. It goes for 5 miles. And that was an extraordinarily peculiar exercise because it wasn't called a small area plan. And I believe that that's another case, like the one Mr. Tucker pointed out, where the rules for this kind of planning were just not followed. But the issue you raised shows how ill-served we are here by our planning department, because you would think that there would be some sort of public effort to prioritize. I mean, if we do need 100,000 people, we got to put 6 of them in your basement. But wouldn't it be smart to develop the places that are already on major streets that have transportation, that were once in fact developed, and that can be redeveloped? Wouldn't that be a smart prioritization rather than going to every nook and cranny?
Absolutely.
But that's a fight that's been fought a long time.
So what I wanted to raise, was that if you go back and look at that plan, and actually, and I think Adrian Fenty and his team, Valerie Santos was the deputy mayor at the time, and Adrian Fenty was mayor. It actually carves out those parcels, and they have subparts. And I think that one's called subpart. I want to say C.
Well, those parcels that were carved out were roughly 10-block stretches of street.
Well, they've got subparts. So there's subparts, and for that, and I went and looked at it myself before the meeting. But that subpart actually calls for C2C in that plan some years ago. So while the zoning commission may not have taken it up until recently, 2012 perhaps, it was proposed as a part of the mayor's plan to look at Rhode Island Avenue some time ago.
Okay, I'm going to be brief.
Mr. Tucker.
Okay, my question is, in the gentleman brought up, in 2008-2009, 901 Evarts Street was sold to these folks by Old Town Trolley. That particular time. And in 2009-2008, the 2 lots that you're talking about in question were also sold. But the 2 lots in question were sold before 901. To go to his point, Old Town Trolley has a 3-year lease to house the ducks in the 901, which was just extended 60 days ago. So if they have a 3-year lease to rent that property, then in 2009 the property was bought, then why wasn't the neighborhood notified of the change of the zoning? Because at a particular time, if you go to the DCRA, you go to land records, it says CM2. As of 2009, it was CM2. So
yeah, I can't speak to why that didn't happen. I think Commissioner Ferriero spoke appropriately to that. There was a process for that. The community should have been notified perhaps.
So, but let me also say this. That is the same problem that Douglas Jamal has right now on the other Reed Street property, because he's in a fight with Mount Calvary Church, because they won't allow them to tear down their building and close that entrance where if you go down the Reed and you make the right way, it's blocked off. Right now that property's on hold because of the same reason. They didn't follow the zoning change, and then they can't close off that alley because now the zoning is saying it's illegal. But I want to go back to one last question. If you build a property that has, and I'm like Mr. Merriweather, we don't need no more congestion. Because if you notice the property up here on 12th and Franklin, they said in their PUD that everybody that owns a property in there get free parking space along 12th Street. That means you're going to knock out all the neighbors, yeah, it's in there, big as day, that they get, every apartment owner gets free parking on 12th Street. So that means that puts every neighbor down Evarts Street and Franklin Street. So at the end of the day, when you look at that little narrow street of Evarts, as Ms. Maribel and all these folks that live on there, there's no way in the world. And then my last point is, where are these trucks going to stay? Because the law says you can't crank up a truck and park a diesel in front of anybody's house before 7 o'clock. So where are you going to park these trucks at? While you got the buses coming out of Old Town Trolley and you got folks sleep. So where are you going to put these trucks at?
Those are specific things that would be part of the construction management agreement. So, again, we would agree with the community would agree with the developer with the community that trucks start moving into the community at a certain hour and leave before a certain hour. You know, idling and all of those other concerns can be put on the table in the agreement, and the developer would be held to that.
Ms. Woodland?
Thank you. I just want to, I agree and feel the same way Larry just explained to us feel about the property coming in, because I talk to a lot of people and they say, we were quiet. It's not quiet anymore. I've lived here 32 years and it used to be really quiet. Now we have like activity going on, there's always something going on. Not that it's horrible, but it's not like it used to be. So as he stated, bringing in properties like that, it really imposes on the quality of life that we had once had. We bought our homes with this peacefulness, this quiet, and thought that's what we were going to have forever. And now other people moving into the city and they're making changes and it's affecting us. So I would support 100% on that. And I also wanted to know if we're going to do a census, because we need to know, I would like to know how most of us feel about if we want it or not.
What was the question again? I didn't hear the last part of the question.
If they were going to do a census, like find out who liked the project there and who doesn't like the project coming in here,
At the end of the meeting.
just so we kind of know how.
Okay, well, I'm sure. One other question. Now, so if this is passed, and you said only 10% will be affordable units, and you call affordable $2,300, now who is going to be able to move there? I'm talking about, I have a daughter, a grandchild who needs affordable housing, nice housing. I mean, seniors need nice housing. Who's going to be living back there? What's affordable?
If I may, I believe the 2,300 was for the market rate rent, and the majority of people who were living there who are not in the affordable units would be paying. The affordable units would be based upon what's called a percentage of area median income. Okay, the area median income is approximately $100,000 a year for the DC metropolitan area. That's what includes like Virginia, Maryland. You know, I mean that's what they call it. Okay, so when affordable housing gets built, it gets built based on making it available to a certain percentage of the area median income. So, for example, if it's deep affordable housing, that would be something like 30% of the area median. In other words, you would have to make $30,000 a year. Your family would have to make $30,000 a year or less in order to qualify to live there. Right? If you make more than that, you would not be qualified to live there. If it's 50%, you know, or there's some, and this is why I asked about this percentage, because some affordable housing is passed off as 70% of area median income, which means that your family would have to make $72,000 a year or less, thereabouts, okay, to live there. Now, $72,000, you know, people may have their own ideas about. To me, $72,000, that's not really the category of family that really needs the affordable housing, right? I mean, it's, you know, so if a developer says to me, well, we're going to build affordable housing, but it's 70%, that's not really affordable housing. Right? I mean, to me, I want to see 50% or 30%, you know, so that it's really serving the people who need it the most, right? So, but to come back to answer your question, the 2,300, that's the market rate. The affordable housing would be at some X percentage, which he's going to get back to us. He doesn't know, you know, of the area median.
And just one more question. Just out of curiosity, what is going to be the square footage of each of these units? The one bedroom, the two bedrooms. Are we going to have an apartment about half the size of this area here? I mean, you know.
That'd be pretty nice.
It might be the area of that green square there.
I think I'll answer this one. I think it will comport with the designs that are in play today. I mean, they're probably not going to be oversized. They're probably going to look like what you can get across the street at Rhode Island Avenue if you've
But Rhode Island Road is not 10 stories high.
No, I understand, no, this was a question about, this was square footage of apartment units.
Oh, Mr. Burns, could you explain one thing before you continue?
I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead.
When you explain the percentage, if I understand it correctly, that 10% only goes for the first tenants that go into that building. After that, everything else is market rate throughout the whole building.
No, that's a different percentage. That is the percentage of all the units, right? So of the 350 units, of the 350 or 400, it would be 10% of those units that would be affordable, right? Now, so that's about 35 to 40 units.
Right.
Those would always be affordable. So it doesn't matter if it's people who go in first, or they would probably have a list, frankly, of people that are looking for affordable units, and they would pick from that list.
Mr. Tucker, is your question related to what happens after the first few people come in and lease and then the process? I think he's referring to, and this is generally a question for people who own, and then after they sell, do they sell those units out of the affordable mix? And these are apartments, so we have to, I'll get back to you as to how we intend to.
But you're going to be proposing above the inclusionary zone, right?
Well, yeah,
Just
so.
not sure what the percentage
Well,
is.
actually, it's under. So with the IZ allows for 7.2 FAR. This project has been proposed with the 410,000 square feet at 6.6 IZ.
No, I meant the percentage of affordable units. It's going to be more than 10%. I thought you said
No,
earlier.
I
You
need
did.
to get back to you on that. And then what I think what I was trying to clarify is that because they're not going up to the 7.2, that could be a variable in terms of determining what percentage of affordable units could be available based on the model.